Vols are back.
Yeah. Money make the world go round. I'm trying to get it all right now. Everybody worry about the crown big. Look, homie, I'm the man right now. Talking to a peon, kind of time we on. Don't roll like the kind of take eons. Got a little buzz, it's time to go beyond. Can't look back, no time to hit rewind. Yeah, she wants to do S-class. I'm like, boo, you must ask. They pour way too much in your glass. Just move your hips like a whole up class. Hit the gab, I talk that gap. Strut like up and I walk that shit. When I'm up, that's it. I'ma start living reckless. Get that bag, I'ma walk like this. Yeah, I'ma walk like this. Hit that lane, I'ma walk like this. Walk in the spot, but they all get lit. Told them on flow, let me talk my shit. Every song bang when they drop in hit. Said on the man, post stop, no miss. Over your head, next time don't slip. Play your part, better read that script. Yeah, I'ma walk like this.
You know, not to flex. Hold on, let me transition here. Da-da-da-da-da. All right, not to flex, but I made that. I don't know if you knew that or not, but I made that.
Wow.
I take great pride in it. Anyway, oi, fellow comrades. It is Squidtard here, along with... Wait a second. Along with my boy, Mr. Lucas Sharp. And Julio still, his flight got delayed, so he is not able to make it. So subbing in for him is last week's special guest who is coming in for this show. It is Mr. Siffs. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Woo!
All right, great stuff. So for anybody missing Julio Rodriguez, you only have to wait one more week. He will be back for episode 53. Got some great comments already. What's going on, Moronic and Amada? Hope you guys are doing well tonight. All right, well, got a lot to cover today. Obviously, we are only 2 weeks away from college football and only 3 away from Tennessee football, everyone's favorite. So I am pumped. I'm guessing you guys are too. Before we get started with everything else, how are you guys doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you all? Can't complain.
Yeah.
Got a nail in my tire.
Oh.
No, that
That's
sucks.
that doesn't sound like a good day.
No, but I had it on warranty, so I was able to get it replaced for only like $30-something.
Oh,
Oh.
that's a deal. That's a deal right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, exactly.
See, that's why I made sure to get this on warranty, so that way if it breaks for whatever reason,
Oh,
Yeah.
it'll be covered. It'll be covered, and it's for free. So
Yeah, for whatever reason.
For
if you
whatever
just throw it at
reason.
the wall.
Ooh. Yeah, no, don't think about it too hard. Hope you guys are having a great day, though. What's going on, Hairy Leg? Got a lot of people in the comments. Now, I am running the show differently than how I used to. Before episode 51, we actually ran the show directly through StreamYard. In fact, I ran it through Mark Rogers' StreamYard. Shout out to him for letting me use it for as long as he did. But now that I'm no longer working with him, I had to find, I had to work around that because I'm not paying $20 a month for a StreamYard Premium or whatever it is. Not now, at least. So I'm sticking to this, and I'm just doing this directly through OBS. So you might see some different things. I added a bunch of graphics that, unfortunately, my co-host won't be able to see. They'll actually have to watch the show directly through YouTube in order to see it. Also, Twitter, for anybody watching the show directly through Twitter, we can no longer do that. Unfortunately, now that's a non-factor because for whatever reason, you gotta get the premium Twitter in order to stream on Twitter, So we lost that privilege as well.
Oh my God.
But it might be for the best because now it'll get a lot more people directly over here through my YouTube channel over here on Squidtard Sports. Yes, Squidtard Sports. I have a main channel called Squidtard. Go check that out if you haven't already, even though I haven't posted on there in a while. Oh, we are actually really, really close to hitting 2,000 subscribers over here on Squidtard Sports. So shout out to all of you guys who are watching this channel. Goes a long way in moving this channel forward. Can't believe we're already at episode 53, by the way, of this podcast. Yeah, we got a lot to go over. So, obviously, I'm going to go ahead and get this over with before we move into our topics for today. Obviously, we are not official. We are not affiliated with the University of Tennessee. We are just big-time Tennessee Vols over here. I don't know about Sifs. He's a 15 teamer, so we'll have to think about that. But nonetheless, if you're a Tennessee fan, if you're a fan of any other team, we're glad to have you over here. So shout out to all of our viewers. Shout out to everybody watching, whether you're watching live or watching the recording afterwards. We're glad to have all of you guys over here watching this show. For anybody that's willing to donate to the channel directly through Super Chat or through the PayPal in the description, for every dollar I receive in donations, I'll be getting on the ground and doing one push-up. So, something maybe that would give you some type of incentive to donate. I wouldn't know, except I would, because I've been forced to doing already a bunch of push-ups. It's agonizing, I'll tell you. So if you want to watch that, I would highly recommend sending a super chat or two. Anyway, now that we've gotten that out of the way, time to talk about some of the topics for this week. So firstly, have you guys been watching the Olympics?
No.
Hell to the no.
All I saw was that the U.S. Men's team won Olympic gold in basketball, like we always do. So
yeah, we tend to do that.
I did see, however, that I think it was Tom Cruise jumped off like a really tall building.
Really?
The guy who was in Mission Impossible,
Yeah. What's that about? That's not an Olympic sport, is it? He just did that for funsies?
Oh, I guess he just did that for fun. It was like their ending scene or whatever, and he just jumped off a big old building with a line on the back.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious right there.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. And yeah, with you guys, I just didn't have the time to watch the Olympics. I'm sure Julio might have a few things to say once he gets back next week. But until then, yeah, that's all we know about the Olympics. Catching up in the comments real quick. Update on Mama Tori, released from hospital today. I didn't even know she was in the hospital. That's new information. What happened? Nonetheless, though, I'm glad she's okay. That's good to hear. Yeah, we're gonna talk about the preseason poll in just a minute, so get ready for that. Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, that's really it to talk about. Obviously, we have our special guest right here, Mr. Sifs. So you already know him. He doesn't need a proper introduction since he's already in here. We might be making him a full-time guest on this podcast if you guys are interested in that. So, let me know if you want to have Sifs as a full-time member of the Volstar podcast crew. That means we'll be having more than likely 5 people on here at once. That'd be crazy. 5 people on the podcast.
It would be.
Just something to think about if you guys are interested. All right, well, let's go ahead and talk about the preseason poll that dropped today. So obviously a few things to touch on with this poll. I'll go ahead and transition right here. So yeah, here is the AP poll, the top 25. Obviously sort of expected this between, it's interchangeable between Ohio State and Georgia, who is going to be ranked number 1. The AP poll, they chose Georgia as the number 1, following them Ohio State at 2, Oregon at 3, Texas at 4. They put Alabama at 5, which I do think is a little interesting. Michigan still in the top 10. They're high on Notre Dame as expected. Florida State got nerfed a little bit, but if it were me, I'd nerf them a whole lot more. And the most important thing to note from here on the Volstar podcast is that Tennessee is coming in at 15th in the AP poll. And there are a couple of things to take from that. The most notable of the two things that I have to say is that while I am happy with the position that we are in, I do think the Vols are just a tiny bit underrated. If you're rating LSU and Clemson ahead of Tennessee, I do have the rights to say that, by the way. But what are you guys' thoughts on the AP poll?
So my opinion, I think Georgia and Ohio State are where they need to be, just given on their performance, last season and whatnot. Oregon might just be a little bit overrated. Texas, maybe underrated. Alabama, I think they should be lower. But Tennessee, I'll just jump to that since that's the one everybody cares about. I think we should at least be 13th or 12th,
Yeah, I can get behind that.
Yeah,
no, there's, and rating Clemson ahead of us, I just don't know about Clemson.
Yeah,
more than we do.
I agree.
It's kind of a lot of it is, beat boot, big coach bias and stuff like that, big brand bias. And I do think that plays a significant part in how they rate these polls. If it didn't, Miami and Texas A&M would not be ranked, but they get ranked every single year. Texas A&M could go 4-8 and they'd still be in the top 25 the very next year. I don't really get why. But that's that big brand bias for you. Texas A&M and Miami always gonna permanently ranked in the AP poll preseason top 25. It's kind of like how Penn State is stuck at eternal 10-2. Texas A&M and Miami are stuck at eternal overrated. So until I see otherwise.
What is Lucas's opinion on all that?
I'm fine with 15, to be honest with you. I mean, I do think we're a little bit underrated, but you know what? It's fine. It's just preseason rankings. They don't really mean much.
Right.
Yeah, I can see that.
We'll know a lot more in 3 or 4 weeks about what to expect.
But I will say, though, you could say, I know there's Georgia fans, of course, in the comment section, but I think Ohio State should be number one. In my opinion, I think they're the most complete team heading into the season.
I could absolutely get behind that.
And I agree with you. I'm sure the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse will take that very well.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. Georgia's still a good team. I just think that Ohio State's the best. And Harry Legg already saying BS. Don't get me wrong. Georgia's still going to be a really good team. I just think Ohio State is the most complete team heading into the season.
Yeah.
Well,
Georgia is definitely, in terms of talent composite, I do think Georgia is the most talented team. However, across the board, Ohio State has all of the pieces together. Georgia's still got a few minor lingering questions, maybe about their defense. Is it going to be better than how it was last year? How are they going to do without Brock Bowers at the helm? A few questions like that. Meanwhile, Ohio State got a bunch of transfers in. Quinshon Judkins, they're going to be absolutely dominant on the offensive side of the ball. Their defense, bringing back a lot of key players. It's just when you look at both those teams, obviously they're interchangeable. That's why I said that at the start of the AP poll. But yes, if I were to pick my top 25 AP poll, I would have Ohio State 1 and Georgia 2.
And then another thing about this poll, why do they have Penn State ahead of Michigan?
That is a little
crazy. Wait, really?
Yeah.
Bro, Penn State hasn't beat Michigan in 20 years.
Okay, this is my take on that. Michigan is the reigning national champions. They should be higher. Should they not?
Agreed.
Well, okay.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Michigan, they ain't going to be as good as this year as they were last year, obviously.
Right.
But still, though, I still think Michigan's going to be a good team. They still return Donovan Edwards, Alex Orji. He might be good. I don't know. And plus, they're still going to have one of the best defenses in the country. Michigan is.
Right.
Well, you're going to find out that last year's performance has very little to do with what's going to happen the following year. Take LSU, for example. They were rated, I think, in the top 5 in 2020 after they won the 2019 National Championship, and they lost 5 or 6 games in 2020. So you can't really just base it off of that alone. And for Michigan's case, they lost their coach. They lost a lot of their big-name playmakers on both sides of the ball. But, yes, they do have Donovan Edwards, who is, I think, a big-time playmaker. They still got players like, Rob Moore, Will Johnson, really, really good players. So it's not like they're going to be terrible. No, far from that. They're going to be a playoff contender, like a lot of the teams in the Big Ten.
Right.
Yeah, Michigan. Don't Michigan recruit in the top 10 every year?
Yeah. No.
Easily.
They're still going to be really, really good. I don't think anybody expects that. And then how about Kansas? This is the first time the Jayhawks are ranked in the preseason poll since 2009. So 15 years ago was the last time Kansas was ranked in the preseason.
Yeah, man, if Jalen Daniels can stay healthy, this Jayhawks team could be dangerous.
Oh yeah, big time,
dude.
Big time.
I think Kansas. It's just so great to see them on the AP poll. That's actually phenomenal for me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then you really have to wonder kind of how long USC and Iowa are going to stay ranked. They're basically two sides of the same coin. USC doesn't exist on defense and Iowa doesn't exist on offense. It's literally yin and yang right there. So
yeah, pretty much.
Because USC does play Michigan pretty early in the season, so We'll have to keep a close eye on that one.
Lincoln Riley and Kirk Ferentz together could like make one of the probably the greatest team to ever exist.
Maybe.
But then,
Harry-
what about you get USC's defensive coordinator and then Iowa's offensive coordinator? You basically create UMass.
Yep, stoppable force meets movable object.
Yes.
So
Creates
that-
UMass.
Yeah, that friggin' UMass.
Harry says that Kansas State is better than Kansas.
Well,
He didn't directly say that, but he showed like the little,
I mean,
greater.
They
than.
are ranked ahead.
Yeah,
of Kansas,
I will-
So.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people are actually high on Kansas State this year.
I
Which,
can't say that I blame them necessarily.
Yeah, I
mean,
think-
they do seem to be having good talent coming in.
yeah, I mean, according to this poll, they're the fourth best Big 12 team heading into the season. So
I'm a
They-
little surprised at how much they nerfed Arizona. I thought Arizona would be ranked at least in the top 20.
yeah, Arizona's going to be good this year.
But yeah.
There's this one Arizona State fan who do you guys know who Harris Highlights is from YouTube?
Heard of it,
Yes. I think
Yeah.
I've watched a few of his videos.
Yeah, he's an Arizona State fan, and he's admitted that Arizona should be ranked higher, and that he has Arizona as his favorite to win the Big 12 this year.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's a bold team.
The Big 12 is without a doubt going to be the hardest conference to figure out this season. I mean, without a doubt, it is going to be the hardest. To find
Yeah.
out. Because there are clear top teams in the other conferences: the SEC, the Big Ten, the ACC. You've got the clear contenders, and then everybody else, and you got your bottom feeders. You don't have that in the Big 12, so the talent gap is way less significant in the Big 12 than anywhere else. So, I mean, obviously,
Like it's
you're gonna
harder to
have-
differentiate.
Yeah, you've definitely got the top contenders like Utah, Oklahoma State, Arizona. Those three teams right there are probably the three. Most people are going to pick them to make the playoffs or whatever, or win the conference. But then you've got some other pretty good teams in there like Iowa State, who Iowa State I think is a very underrated team this season. They're bringing back a lot of talent. Kansas State, Kansas, both of those teams are really good. I'm going to keep a close eye on that conference and then figure out how long it takes for Colorado to lose.
hopefully Colorado finishes dead last.
I sure hope so.
They're not because of teams like Houston, but they're still, they're still going to be.
Man, why can't 2016 Houston come back, man?
Yeah, right.
For real. For
'Cause
real.
that Houston team, they almost made the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They made a New Year's 6 and won it. In fact, so yeah, they definitely. I don't know. They definitely took a hard fall, but that's what happens. Oh, I mean, you even got contenders like BYU, USC, or no, not USC, UCF, Central Florida. Well, West Virginia is another one. I mean, the list goes on. There are just so many, interesting teams in the Big 12. That's going to be a very, very interesting conference to watch for.
Yeah.
But yep, that is the AP Top 25 right there. Nothing much else to it. Nothing really else that blows me out of the water. I mean, there are a couple of things I would change. And next week, I'm going to show my preseason AP poll. So you'll get a taste at what I think of these teams. But yep, that's pretty much what it looks like. So yeah, that's all there is to that. But let me check in on the comments real quick. Nate the Great, I'm fine with Michigan at 8 because it's fair. It's a fair enough ranking for them. Yeah, it's pretty fair. Harry Legg, if Oklahoma State has a quarterback, Cowboys versus Utah for the Big 12 championship. Those are the two best teams, I think, in the Big 12. I don't know why that Harry thinks Michigan is overrated. Probably because you lost a bunch of your talent and still ranked in the top 10. I want to know, though.
No.
Yeah.
Shots fired.
Yeah, I mean, not really. I mean, if you lost a bunch of your talent. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, it's a fair
Kinda-
statement. It's a fair
throwing out
statement.
the truth.
Yeah, lost a bunch of talent and lost your head coach. Although I think Sharon Moore will do fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll be okay. He'll do fine. All right, let's see what else. So there really isn't much else to talk about in the other sports. This is kind of the point where, talking about like the basketball teams, the baseball teams, there just really isn't much to discuss. Literally the biggest piece of news, and I've even got a graphic for this. This is Brianna Crittenden, and she actually had an offer earlier to take a visit with Tennessee and all that. She actually had an unofficial visit with Tennessee. She's a 2026 Colorado lock, but we'll be keeping a close eye on her. Maybe she flips, maybe she joins the Vols, and maybe she'll join the Tennessee squad. But yeah, we'll be keeping a close eye on her. That's all there is really for Tennessee basketball in both sports, men's and women's sports. So, yeah, like I said, really isn't much to discuss there. They're in the deep off season. We'll probably get a lot more as we progress through the college football season because we're actually going. I mean, we're inching closer to basketball season down in November, but right now there ain't much of anything to discuss. You know what I mean?
But we will have something to discuss in 2 weeks. It would be absolutely amazing if Georgia Tech pulls off the upset against Florida State.
Oh, yeah. No, that would make me...
That would be incredible.
I'm of the belief that they will. Look, I think Florida State this season, all of the offseason drama, all the players that they lost, Mike Norvell didn't do enough in the transfer portal. Teams that tend to have drama like this over the offseason usually fall off the map the next year. They usually fall off the map. Who is pinging me during my show? Who are you? What's wrong with you? You don't ping me during the show that you could at least have the common courtesy of watching it. Sorry.
But yeah, Georgia Tech, they could very well beat Florida State, and I hope they do. Because I actually like Georgia Tech in a way because, of course, Bobby Dodd was the coach there and he played at Tennessee and everything. I also like their fight song and everything. And plus, C-Dog, he's a cool guy. So I'm hoping Georgia Tech pulls off the upset. And also, speaking of Georgia Tech, did you see they landed that 5-star offensive tackle today?
Yeah. That was a huge pickup for Tech right there.
Yeah. And then everybody started overreacting, saying that Tech is back.
That's a little bit much, but
yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong.
It is a good pickup.
Yeah, Tech, they're not back yet. They are getting better though. I do think Brent Key, he of course he's getting the team in the right direction.
They'll be back in 2 weeks after they beat Florida State though.
If they beat Florida State, then I don't care. I'm saying they're back. I don't care.
Oh yeah.
Expect
that. Georgia Tech will likely, if they beat Florida State, they'll more than likely be ranked the following week. So yeah.
I'd be mad if they weren't.
Yeah, I guess they're the new Kansas now, just the team that everybody's pushing for to be ranked.
Yeah.
Well, if it were up to me, it would be rank UTEP, but that's beyond the point. That's beyond that's beyond my jurisdiction.
Maybe one day.
That's beyond my jurisdiction right now.
The only way that would happen is if you took over the head coaching job for UTEP Squid.
I did win a natty with them. Just throwing that out there. Anyway.
You could go ahead and recruit yourself a 5-star receiver and have him run the jet touch pass every time.
Yeah. Jet touch pass. That's our number one play of the season. You have to learn it.
I'd become like Chip Kelly at Oregon, where like he had a new system that everyone hated and they had to basically rehash all the rules of college football to work around it. That would be me with the jet sweep. The jet touch pass.
Yeah.
It's just that, like, they'd make a whole bunch of new rules just to work around that, and then they'd have to do it again once I start overusing the halfback toss.
and then using the wide receiver streak.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, no, there's some overpowered.
Leo Kaufman, just go deep and we'll give it to you.
Yeah,
Kaufman, yeah.
F it, he's down there somewhere.
I'll find you.
I'll find you. Go watch the UTEP Dynasty. I'm going to make a video about that. I'm going to make a full video about how I brought back the UTEP Miners, so get ready for that.
Please.
Yeah, no. So, yeah, just like with basketball, not a whole lot of baseball news for this week. Shocking revelation. Although we did get to see a bit of the pros play And one man in particular I'm going to highlight, Mr. Christian Moore, has been absolutely killing it with the Rocket City Trash Pandas. Just throwing that out there. He's
Yeah.
really good.
Call him up, Angels. Call him up.
Fans,
Yeah, hold on. I really want to show y'all some of his highlights. So
I know he's been absolutely lethal.
Mhm.
I'm gonna share this for the peoples.
I think he only played for like the lower minor league team before joining the Pandas, and he was absolutely like killing it there. So they moved him up, of course, to that other minor league team.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, the sky's the limit for him. It seems like.
I guess so. Yeah. It's funny how that works.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
He's about to become the Angels' new Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Let me show this for y'all because he had some absolutely groundbreaking moments. This was from, I forget which day this was from, but this is all Christian Moore right here.
this is 1-2, hit deep out towards center field. Vols fans, you have another one. That one is gone. Christian Moore, his second 2-home run game as a Rocket City Trash Panda. His hot stretch continues. It's
yes,
solo
sir, with the
shot to
Euro
open
step.
the bottom of the 6th inning. Rocket City trails 6-3.
He's a VFL, that's for sure.
5 games, 5 home runs in a row.
Just and he had a whole bunch more. Like he absolutely killed it out there. Literally just absolutely killed it. And I think he had a walk-off homer in the 9th inning in one of those games. So yeah, he's really good. Yeah. Yeah.
Knowing the Angels, I pray for him.
right, yeah.
That's
It'd
what
be-
Vol Bill said.
He'd automatically be the best player on the Angels.
Right, for sure.
Yeah.
Catching up on the comments, Nate DeGray said, also FEA College Football 25. I gave her another chance, like you said, Squid, and I didn't like it, so I deleted it.
Well,
Do I say it, guys? Do I say it?
Don't say it.
Is it
Don't.
mean to say it?
Don't say it. Don't say it.
Skill issue. All right. Moving on.
oh, come on.
Skill issue. Oh man, Nate's about to get mad.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but that's literally what that is. You know, it's.
Uh,
Because I was in that position where I was like, this is impossible. There's no way to get better. There's nothing I can do. And then from the skies above came the jet touch pass. And then I realized, this ain't so bad at all.
Need I also mention that I had to talk Squid out of stopping playing it because he posted on YouTube and stuff. He deleted the post, of course, because he changed his mind, but he posted that he was going to stop playing. And then I reached out to him and I was like, hey, listen, here's some videos for you. Learn what you can and get back out there. You know, don't give up.
Mm-hmm. And you know what the other people told me when I made that post? The same thing I literally just told you. Quite literally, skill issue. So it's not up to me, what you like and what you don't, but if you got to give it a chance, like an actual full-on chance. It took a lot of time for me to do it, and I was playing as friggin' UTEP, and if you're one of these people who just screw it, my wide receiver's down there somewhere, and then it gets picked off.
Leo Kaufman's down there somewhere.
Yeah.
Now with me,
Kaufman, get open.
Looking like that didn't even work every time. Even when I cheesed it, that didn't even work every time. I had to work around that, and you just got to figure out what works and then overuse it like I do. It's I don't really know what to tell you, but it's quite literally a skill issue.
Yeah, but
you can't.
Maddie,
it's not like the last game where you can throw 500 verticals every play and pray that somebody's down there.
But I will say though, if you get like a 99 speed receiver in Dynasty, then it's basically over for the other teams.
You'd think so. And good luck doing that against users. Ooh. Now, I will admit the defense is a little bugged. Sometimes stupid things happen, but it's not like the game is just a total bug and it's all Madden and it sucks and it's stupid and I hate it because I can't do 96 verticals every play. Like, you know, figure it out. But again, I'm not you, so I can't make the decisions for you. If you choose to not be a part of the fun because you're not good, then I don't know, you know. But then again, I was once not good, so think about it that way. You have to learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
Watch videos on the game. That helps. Watch videos on, how to do things in the game.
There is no shame in watching tips and tricks videos if you aren't good at just any game.
Mm-hmm. Get help where you can get it.
Exactly.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I have to call UT tomorrow to figure out how to get a parking pass. So literally just, ask for help where you can get it. You know what I mean? All right. Anyway, with that out of the way, we can move into the main topic. So one thing I really wanted to do today, since I'm not doing my Tennessee predictions just yet, we're doing that next week because Julio's not here. So today I thought it would be fun to do predictions of every other team in the SEC. With the exception, of course, of the Tennessee Volunteers, which are going to do that next week. So it's not going to be, we're not going to dive in too deep because there's, we got to do 15 different teams and I don't really feel like doing a deep dive. So I'll just kind of go through, give a general analysis, a general thought about what like, all the games that they play and who they'll win. And I'm sure you guys are cool with that as well. You can give some general thoughts on these teams. I made graphics for them and everything, so you oughta.
yeah, that does make it easier.
All right. Let's see if Vanderbilt can get to 4 wins.
Ooh, I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
The zero Vandy fans be mad right now.
I tried to speak with Jared about it, and he said that they're going 6-6. So.
Oh God!
Really?
God bless. God bless.
Oh no.
The only way.
Why does that surprise you?
The only way Vandy could go 6-6 is they would have to beat all the people who they're expected to beat, which is like Georgia State, Alcorn State, and then some other team.
We're gonna touch on that in a minute. Don't worry. We'll touch on that at the end.
Yeah,
once we get through all this. So first, we're gonna start. We'll just go down the alphabet. We'll start out with everybody's not favorite, the Alabama Crimson Tide. Let's start out with them first. So. Let me go ahead and share the screen over here with you guys so that you can see it. All right, so it might be hard to see from this screen, but this is what I've got. So
yeah,
okay, here we go. All right, so let's get rolling.
There we go.
So we'll start out. They've got Western Kentucky win probably, right?
Yeah, easy win. That's an easy win.
Yeah. Fear the Bulls though. Fear the Bulls.
They almost lost to South Florida last year.
That's right. But let's go ahead and give them the win there. So 2-0.
Yeah. I'll give them the win.
Yeah. Wisconsin.
Very big if.
Wisconsin and Luke Fickell on the road. That's going to be really interesting. They go on to play Wisconsin.
Yeah, but I would still give Alabama the win.
Yeah, I would too.
They've definitely got a huge talent edge. So yeah, 3-0. After a bye week, though, they get Georgia. They host Georgia in Tuscaloosa. What do you guys think about that?
I don't know. Bama could win that considering Georgia's recent history against them.
Right.
Honestly, okay, this is my opinion on it. I think Georgia's going to win that game.
Yeah, that's fair. Lucas, what's your pick?
I'm going to pick Georgia.
And I'm leaning Georgia, too. So.
If Georgia loses this game, I'm never picking them to beat Alabama ever again.
Now, it is a road game, so I think it'll be close. However, I do think Georgia pulls away. I just think they're the more talented team. They've got the talent edge. They've got the coaching edge. And I just don't really see Milroe keeping up with that Georgia defense. But it's very well possible. He did it in the SEC championship game. It's going to be a close one, but I think Georgia pulls out. So 3-1. And then 4-1. All right, and then 5.
They're not.
South Carolina at home, 5-1, right?
Yeah.
Then Tennessee on the road in Knoxville. Last time they came here, of course, Tennessee beat them in that 52-49 spectacle. Now they're going to be coming in. Tennessee, of course, Not going to be missing a beat on offense, as we know. Their defensive line is going to be really good. It's just a matter of the secondary, I think, for Tennessee. What do y'all think?
I agree with your take. I think that Tennessee will pull through, though. I think that we have made steps to forward our program to have that potential to be Alabama back-to-back.
All right. You heard that. Lucas, what about you?
As much as I want to pick Tennessee here, I got to go with Alabama because not that I think Alabama is necessarily the better team. I just think solely because of the game on tennis on the Alabama game that's placed on Tennessee's schedule. It's such in a weird place. It's literally right after the Florida game. So, yeah, it's such a weird placed game. So, I would have to pick Alabama there.
I see.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's fair.
Then after that, wait, hold on. Yeah, no, I got to give my pick too. So you picked Bama, and Sif's picked Tennessee. So my pick would be, and this is based on the fact that you can't choose history as the sole reason as to winning or losing a game. In Tennessee's case, Nick Saban, they have a terrible record against Nick Saban. They're like 1-15 against him, and every Alabama fan that you talk to about this game is going to tell you, "Oh, well, you lost 16 out of 17 against Nick Saban." And well, true. What's Kalen DeBoer's record against Tennessee? That's what I thought. 0-0. They're winless against Tennessee, and soon to stay that way. I think they're going to go 0-1. I think Bama comes in here and takes the loss to Tennessee. So that would mean they go to 5-2 because majority rules. I picked Tennessee to win, so it would be 5-2 heading into the big matchup against Missouri. This is a pretty big one, I have to think, because Mizzou, they're a pretty good team. They're a pretty good team. They've got the best wide receiver in the SEC returning, Luther Burden, but I do think Bama's the more talented team. What do y'all think?
Yeah, I would have to go with Alabama.
I'm going to go with Alabama for now because I'd have to see how Missouri develops.
Right, fair enough, and I'll pick Bama as well. So 6-3. All right, and then after a bye week, they travel on the road into Tiger Stadium to take on LSU. Last time they went to Tiger Stadium, they lost, but that was against Jaden Daniels and a much more competitive defense. To me, I just don't see the defense being near as good as it was. Well, even the offense, I don't think they're going to be near as good as they were last year. They're losing their Heisman quarterback. They're losing Malik Neighbors. They're losing a big key piece to their offense right there. Two big key pieces. And from what I've seen, their defense hasn't improved, and their defense is really the big question. I don't know. What do y'all think?
I absolutely agree with your take. That's every single thought I had, word for word.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, yeah, I'll pick Alabama in that one.
Now, the big question is that, LSU got Missouri's defensive coordinator, who, of course, is, not too bad last year. So maybe he makes a huge improvement on the defense, and then we look like idiots. LSU knocks Bama out of the water. But at this point in time, I don't think it makes that much of a difference. I think Bama wins on the road, so that makes them 7-3. Or no, 7-2. My bad.
Yeah,
okay, so after that they play Mercer 8-2. Let's get that out of the way, and then they play Oklahoma on the road. Oklahoma, of course, transitioning to the SEC. Jackson Arnold, how good is he going to be for Oklahoma? We don't know. Maybe he has a really good game against Bama, and they've got him at home. This is a very, very interesting game right here. It's right before the Iron Bowl against Auburn, so it could very well potentially be a trap game. What do y'all think?
I want to pick Oklahoma. That's who I want to pick. But I just think that with them just transitioning over to the SEC, I don't think they'll quite have everything together yet. I don't think they'll be firing on all cylinders at that point in the season either. So I'm going to pick Alabama just because I don't know how they're going to perform with that in mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm going to pick Alabama too.
All right. Well, I would pick because of the sheer magnitude of this game and how big it's going to be for Oklahoma. And because Bama and Kalen DeBoer, I think, are going to have some growing pains as well. It's tough to tell, but I think Oklahoma barely edges this one out at home. But majority rules. Both of you guys picked Alabama, so we got to stick with that. Picking Alabama to win on the road at Oklahoma, and then finally at home against Auburn. What do y'all think about that?
If it was in Jordan-Hare, I'd honestly pick Auburn.
Yeah,
I agree.
But since it's in Tuscaloosa, I would pick Alabama.
Yep.
all right.
Agreed.
And that's all there needs to be said, I suppose. I do think Auburn is going to be an improved team this year under Hugh Freeze, and they tend to give Alabama a lot of trouble no matter where it's at, and I think that'll be the case here. However, I think Alabama pulls away late in the fourth quarter. They get the dub, and that'll put Bama at 10-2, losing to Georgia and Tennessee, but that wins against everybody else. So that would be a pretty good season for Bama. More than likely means they're a playoff team at that point. So, yeah, definitely keep an eye out for Kalen DeBoer and Alabama for sure.
All right.
That seems pretty fair to me. I don't know about y'all, but that seems,
Yeah, 10-2. 10-2, first year head coach. Pretty good season, so.
Yeah, that would be a great year.
All right,
and
so now
more than likely means there won't be a bunch of Bama fans screaming for Kalen DeBoer to get fired. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Most people tend to agree. I see Vol Bill says Bama 10-2 losses to Georgia and LSU. Matty Sims, let's see. Yeah, he's got a lot of comments here. Milrow showed poison, was unfazed despite being down in the first half. I say it's more likely that LSU beats us than Tennessee. Ooh, that's an interesting take. Mad T Sipper says, "Can I get a hook 'em?" No, you can't.
No, you get a horns down.
Yeah, you get horns down, bro.
Yeah, wrong place to run around with that. Texas had another running back injured at practice. Tough to hear, though. Tough to hear. That sucks. Iron Bowl in Tuscaloosa equals Bama beatdown. All right, well, there you go. Right around my personal expectation, 9-10 regular season wins. So there you go. That's Bama for you. Let's move on to the next team.
Arkansas.
Yep, the Arkansas Razorbacks. So let's go ahead and start this out. They've got an easy one to start out the season, and they'll need it because Sam Pittman is really. I think out of all the coaches in the SEC right now, he might be the closest to the hot seat. So he needs that. He's got University of Arkansas Pine Bluff to start out the season. 1-0. I think we can all agree on that.
Not loss.
Yeah.
They're losing that game, guys.
All right, I'm joking. They're winning that game.
Yeah. But after that,
You're good.
this is a really tough one right here. They go on the road into Stillwater to face off against the Oklahoma State Cowboys, who right now I would say is the best running back in the Big 12, that being Ollie Gordon. And Mike Gundy, of course, has a really good track record as a head coach. This is going to be a tough one for Arkansas, I think. What do y'all think?
Yeah, I'm going to take Oklahoma State.
Honestly, that's not a tough one for me. I think Oklahoma State's going to beat them.
Fair enough. And yeah, I think so too. So 1-1. Then they face UAB in Fayetteville. UAB, an interesting team, I think, this year. I think they might give Arkansas a little bit of trouble, but I do expect the Razorbacks to win.
Yeah.
Agree?
Yeah, Arkansas should win that.
Yeah. All right, so 2-1. Then after that, they go on the road into Jordan-Hare to face off against Auburn.
They're not beating Auburn.
Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, I agree on that. Yeah. I just don't. I mean, didn't they beat them last year, though? I think they did.
Yeah, but they had KJ Jefferson and Rocket Sanders. They don't have those two anymore.
That's a good point. Can't argue with that.
And Auburn is also a more talented team this year.
Yeah, Auburn's going to be sneaky good this year.
And also, I lied. That is not the case. Auburn beat Arkansas 48-10. So.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, Auburn.
Okay, yeah, easy.
I don't really have to think about it. All right, 2-2. So then after that, they go, and this is a neutral site, the Southwest Classic against Texas A&M. And this has been a pretty competitive game the last few years. But y'all think Arkansas wins this one?
I'm going to go with A&M.
I'm gonna do the same, honestly.
All right, well, there you go. So even if I were to pick Arkansas, it wouldn't matter. At Texas A&M, I do think they win that game. It's majority rules, even if I picked Arkansas. So yeah, 2-3. And it gets much worse because after that you get our Tennessee Volunteers. And if there was not a bye week that Tennessee had before this game, in Fayetteville, I would have called this a trap game, and I would have honestly been leaning Arkansas. But Tennessee does have a bye week ahead of this game. What do y'all think? Do they get Tennessee in
I
trouble?
think since we have a bye week before the Arkansas game, and especially since Arkansas is coming off against A&M and they're going to be beaten down,
Yeah.
I think Tennessee could honestly go into Fayetteville and blow them out.
All right, well, you heard that. So there you go. Daggum. And I'm sliding with Tennessee as well. So there you go. 2-4 going into the bye week. And things get much worse from here. Does not get any easier. You get LSU at home, though. This is at home. And we did talk about how LSU is sort of a team that I think will be on the decline this year. Is this a trap game for LSU potentially?
But I'm going to check LSU's schedule, see who they play before this game.
Yeah, let me know too, because
They play they play Ole Miss before they play Arkansas.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
So if they come off a skid, then maybe they beat them twice. It's very possible.
Yeah, it seems like Arkansas, it feels like they usually get upset somebody every year.
Well, before mine, y'all give me your pick.
I'm gonna go with Arkansas, honestly, with that game at Ole Miss. I mean, honestly, it seems like they'll be too drained.
All right, Lucas, what about you?
This game's too tough to call. You know what? I'm gonna go with LSU to even things out, so the pressure can be on you.
All right, well, yeah, no pressure on me for sure. And yeah, I'm gonna take Sips here. I'm gonna side with Arkansas and say that they get the dub over LSU. I'm not a believer in LSU this season. I'm really not. I think I think their defensive coordinator might be able to fix some parts of their defense, but again, they're taking a big chunk out of their offense this year without Malik Neighbors and Jaden Daniels. I think they've still got some playmakers who I think can make an impact, but I just don't see it. This is definitely a tough one to call, but I do think the Razorbacks get the dub here and they go to 3-4. Then after that, they go on the road to Mississippi State. I think Arkansas is better than Mississippi State. I'm going to call that one a win, even though it's on the road. So 4-4, at least from my point of view. What do y'all think?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Mississippi, or not Mississippi State. I'm gonna go Arkansas. My bad.
I agree. I can side by that. Yeah.
All right, so 4-4, and then after that, Ole Miss. It is at home, but Ole Miss, they're going to be they're a preseason top 10 team. Y'all think they have a chance?
They're not beating Ole Miss.
All right.
Absolutely not.
There you go. So there you go, 4-5. And then after that, you get a bye week before you face off against big-time rival at home, by the way, at home, the Texas Longhorns. This is a big-time game for Arkansas right here. Everyone knows it. They're going to be giving their all in this game for sure.
Yeah.
But who are y'all going to pick?
I feel like that game, even though I think Texas will be a better team than Arkansas, I feel like that game could honestly actually go either way.
You think so?
Well, in my opinion, I think that Texas is actually slightly underrated. I think that they're going to blow Arkansas out of the water, even if it is on their home turf.
That's interesting to hear.
I'm gonna go Texas. Why not?
So that's 2
Arkansas.
for Texas, and I would be siding with Arkansas, but majority rules. I'm gonna stick with Texas, and so that means Arkansas goes down to 4-6.
So they're gonna have to win their next 2 games.
And Louisiana Tech at home, very well possibly they should win that one. So 5-6.
Yeah,
we're
win.
on greens on that.
Yeah.
So that means in order to make a bowl in this timeline, they would have to beat Missouri on the road.
They're not. Missouri owns them.
Yeah. That's
I
tough.
agree.
So there you have it. That means Arkansas would go 5-7 in this timeline. So there you go. Bama.
Yep. It's Sam
10-2.
Pittman likely gets fired.
Yeah. Bama's 10-2 and Arkansas is 5-7. So there you go. And yeah, I guess we can move on to our next team now.
Florida.
No, it's not Florida.
Oh.
Oh.
Auburn. I forgot about Auburn.
Yeah, it's the Auburn Tigers. Can't believe you forgot about them. Well, no, it's not too hard to forget, I say. All right, well, anyway, let's go through this one. So Alabama A&M at home, 1-0. Okay, we can all agree on that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, and then they also get this game at home. It's the Cal Golden Bears, a new addition to the ACC, but how much of a difference will that make for them? Not much of anything. Give me Auburn to win.
Yeah, Auburn. Cal is getting better, but Auburn, they're still gonna be the better team.
Mm-hmm.
They are.
Yeah. So there you go, 2-0. All right, and then they face off against New Mexico, which got to be careful. Remember New Mexico State.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah.
I was about to say you're lucky this ain't New Mexico State.
Right, exactly. But I think we're on agreement. It's 3-0.
Yeah, 3-0.
Spectacular. And then after that, you get Arkansas at home. We already explained that one, so 4-0.
Yeah.
And then Oklahoma at home. In this timeline, a 4-0 Auburn is very likely to be ranked, and it's going to be against the Oklahoma team, which will more than likely also be ranked. So this is a very tough one to call. Who do y'all have getting this win?
Man,
let me ask this first.
Oklahoma, they play Tennessee the week before they play Auburn.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to pick Oklahoma because I think they're going to lose to Tennessee. So I think Oklahoma's going to rebound against Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that statement. I agree.
And I'm in agreement too. I think Oklahoma is more than likely to get a win against one of those two teams that we just mentioned. So yes, I do think they beat Auburn, which means that the Tigers go down to 4-1. And unfortunately, it doesn't get any easier because after that, you're traveling to Sanford Stadium to face off against Georgia. So loss.
Yeah, loss.
L.
And Auburn has a tendency to give Georgia a little bit of trouble because it's a huge rivalry game. But, yeah, I still think Georgia wins. So 4-2 heading into the bye week. And then after that, you play Missouri on the road. This is an interesting one right here. Because if Missouri really wants to prove to everybody that they're not the same old Missouri that loses every big game, they're going to have to beat Auburn, I think. What do y'all think?
I think that, well, first of all, for me, it kind of depends on who Missouri plays beforehand.
They play UMass, so it's basically a bye week. So give me Missouri.
Oh,
give me
okay.
Missouri.
Yeah.
Hammer Missouri.
Yeah, I agree.
Very tough one to call, but if you're going to stay with Missouri, I might as well too. So there you go. So, yeah. And I do think Missouri is a pretty good team. I think they've got more weapons
They
than
are.
Auburn can
They
handle.
are now.
So, yeah. 4-3. But after that, it's a road game, so this could potentially be pretty tough. It's at Kentucky, in Lexington. I don't know. Kentucky, of course, bringing in a new quarterback, Brock Vandegrift. They're doing the whole thing where they just get a new transfer quarterback every single year. How's it going to pan out for them, though? Are they going to be able to really, how good are they going to be this season? I don't think they're going to be really all that good. So I in my opinion, I would expect Auburn to get the win on the road here. What do y'all think?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Auburn.
I am going with Auburn too. Not that it really matters since
Right.
you all have already given your opinion, but
So yeah, the Tigers will bounce back, go 5-3, and then Vanderbilt at home.
Loss.
Yeah, I mean, oh
no.
I'm
Okay,
joking.
there you
Win,
go. Yeah,
obviously.
6-3 heading into
Yeah.
another bye week, and after that you face Louisiana Monroe, which is probably one of the worst teams in the FBS right now. So yeah, win.
Yeah.
So 7-3 heading into the two final games of the season, and this is a very tough one to call right here. It's Texas A&M, but it is at home for the Tigers. What do y'all think? Does Auburn get the win at home here?
For note, Texas A&M, they play New Mexico State the week before they play Auburn.
Texas A&M.
I
does?
think, yeah.
Texas. Yeah, they play New Mexico State before they play Auburn.
So it's an even trade-off then because Auburn plays Louisiana Monroe. So yeah, two pretty
This-
interesting tune-up games right there.
You know what?
I'll say this. I think it could go either way, but I think that Auburn's going to have the upper hand playing at home, obviously.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with Auburn.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Auburn as well.
And yeah, I do think that because Auburn has had Hugh Freeze for longer than A&M has had Mike Elko. Obviously, he hasn't even coached a game at A&M yet. So yeah, I think there are going to be some growing pains for A&M in the future. This will be one of them. I think it'll be much better for the long run for A&M, but for now, yeah, I'm sticking with Auburn. I think they're going to win that game. And then we already talked about the Bama game. So there you go. That means we're going to have Auburn at 8-4 for the season. That'd be a pretty good record. Pretty good record, honestly.
Yeah.
I think that would be a pretty good year two under Hugh Freeze. So
Yeah.
All right, now we get the chance to talk about these guys, and oh boy,
They have to play what, like 7 ranked
it's
teams?
bad. It's a monstrous schedule that they've got here. So
I actually kind of almost feel bad.
I've got some interesting takes on Florida, though. You're gonna have to hear me out on these. So they start out the season they play Miami at home, and Miami, of course, is one of the many preseason top 25 teams that they play. And Miami has, they're trying to contend for the ACC title this year. They've got a lot of weapons. Cam Ward coming in as their starting quarterback. Mario Cristobal. There's a lot of questions about whether or not he can coach for Miami. So they've definitely got a lot of questions. Florida has their own questions as well. How good is Graham Mertz going to be under that offensive line? How much have they improved over the course of this season? Have they improved at all? A lot of anomalies for Florida for sure. I do think they've got some pretty good guys, but it's going to be really interesting to see how it pans out for Florida. I'm going to say this. Florida, I remember 2 years ago when they played Utah at home to start out the season. Utah was a top 10 team contending for the Pac-12 title, and Florida beat them at home. Last year, Tennessee came to town. They were a top 15 team contending for the SEC. What did Florida do at home? They beat them. I think we see a repeat of that. I think this is another team in the top 25 that not many people expect Florida to beat, and Florida beats them at home. So yes, give me Florida to beat Miami. What do y'all think about that?
You know what? I actually agree with that take. I'm going to go Florida.
I normally don't like to go with history repeating itself takes, but Florida has a really a very powerful presence when it comes to playing at home.
And think about it.
I'm actually going to go Florida.
Think about it. This is a state opponent, a rival for Florida at the start of the season. You best guarantee that stadium's going to be louder than most stadiums we've known. So, yeah. I think that home field advantage is going to really, 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 really take an impact in this game. And on top of that, I still think Mario Cristobal can't coach. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Give me Florida to win this game against Miami. So, 1-0 to start out the season, and probably 2-0 because they play Samford the following week.
Yeah. Mario Cristobal, he spent all of his coaching points in recruiter.
Yep. There you go. So,
2-0.
And then after that, they play Texas A&M at home early in the season. Mike Elko, like I mentioned, he's going to have growing pains. Is this going to be one of them? What do y'all think?
I'm going to go with A&M, to be honest with you. Even though...
Because I'm picking Florida. I'm picking Florida to beat A&M. This is another home game for Florida. And I'm not basing it just off of that alone. I think Florida has because of the schedule and the amount of ranked teams that they play. You look at Florida for 1 second, you're like, oh, it's over for them. Look at all the big time teams that they play. It's over for them. But no, I think Florida and Texas A&M have about an even roster in terms of talent. It's going to come down to coaching, and I think even because of how even with Billy Napier, I think Florida has the edge in that. But what do y'all?
Let me ask this: who does Texas A&M play the week before?
McNeese State.
But Florida does play Samford.
Yeah, that is true. You know what? I'm gonna be the odd one out and pick Florida.
All right, well there you go. Because I picked Florida too, so that means Florida starts out 3-0.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Then they'd be friggin' ranked, too.
Yeah, they'd be loud. And I think they'll even be louder after they go 4-0 because I think they beat Mississippi State, too.
Yeah, they're beating Mississippi State.
Yeah, there's no way they're going to lose that.
There you go, 4-0. And then after a bye week, this is where things get interesting. So you have UCF. Now keep in mind, this UCF game is sandwiched between a bye week and the big matchup on the road against Tennessee. This is going to be a tough one, I think. In fact, I think this is a huge trap game for Florida. It's Gus Malzahn. He's bringing in a pretty good team. KJ Jefferson coming in at the helm to play quarterback. What do y'all think?
In UCF, they play Colorado before they play Florida.
So, yeah, think about that.
I'm gonna go with Florida on this one with that considered.
You know what? I'm gonna go with UCF. I'm gonna let Squid decide.
Yeah, and that seems to be the right pick because I'm picking UCF as well. I think this is a huge trap game for Florida. UCF, they are a Power 5 team. Let's not forget that. They're not one of these Jamoke Group of 5 programs. They are a Power 5 program with a few good years under their belt. So, yeah, I do think they give Florida quite a bit more of a challenge than they were expecting, and I think UCF grabs the upset on the road. Then after that, Florida plays Tennessee on the road in Knoxville. You already know Tennessee is going to be super loud. They've got a great offense coming back, great defensive line. Their secondary is kind of the only big question with Tennessee. What do y'all think? Does Tennessee get the win?
Tennessee gets the win. If we lose to Florida this year at home after what happened last year, like, we literally have everything better than Florida right now. Yeah. We have a better coaching staff. Right now we have better players. And plus, it's at home. If we lose to Florida, it would just be absolutely unacceptable.
Yeah,
I agree. I agree with that statement.
All right, so there you go. We have Florida at 4-2 now, coming off a loss to Tennessee. And you kind of have to take history into account here as they face Kentucky next on the next game. And for the last few years, I mean, I think Florida's like 4. I think they're 2-6 against Kentucky.
Yeah, Kentucky's been owning them as of late.
Yeah, but it is at home for Florida. I think they've got a better team than Kentucky. Do y'all think they get the win?
I think history repeats itself.
So you have Kentucky winning.
Yeah.
I've got Florida winning. I think Florida gets revenge on Kentucky.
Damn, so I'm the deciding factor. Damn it.
Yeah. You got to think
he's on the hot seat now.
Yeah.
Since it's at Florida, I'll go with Florida.
All right. Yeah. A lot of these games are wishy-washy because of the home field advantage. But, all right, there you go. So, Florida at 5-3, 1 game away from their bowl game, heading into what's probably one of the toughest stretches I've seen out of any college football team.
Yeah,
so
that's a tough 5-game
Georgia
stretch.
And Texas. I think both of these games we can all agree that they're both losses. Right?
Yeah, they're
not. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, so there really isn't much of a discussion to that. I think they could give Texas a little bit of trouble because I have no idea how good Texas is going to be, but it is on the road in Austin. Yeah, I don't think it's much of a challenge. So there you go. They're going to be 5-4. Then they get LSU at home. I'm not a believer in LSU this season.
I know you said you're not a believer in LSU, which I can understand because LSU's defense last year was poopy. But I'm gonna go with LSU. I know Sif said that he don't really like to make picks based on history, but LSU's been absolutely owning Florida as of late. Absolutely owning. And LSU just has a better staff. I think they have better players. So I'm going to take LSU.
All right. Well, I guess that kind of puts me on a little bit of a hot seat before Squid gives his take. But I think I don't think that Florida will allow themselves to come off of 2 losses and get a third, especially playing at home. And I think that LSU isn't going to be as good as they're made out to be on the AP poll. And so I'm going to give it to Florida.
All right. Well, that's all I need to hear because now it comes down to me. You picked LSU, right?
Yeah, I picked LSU and Sifs picked Florida.
God, very tough one to call. This is a very, very tough one to call because historically LSU has owned Florida even worse than Kentucky has. So this is a very, very tough one to call.
Please pick LSU, man. Literally, Florida starts the season 5-2 and then loses their last 5 games to not make a bowl. That would be so hilarious.
That would be pretty funny, but it's funny is one thing, reality is another, and I got to stick with reality on this one. I'm gonna pick Florida. I think Florida right now is a much better team than people are giving them credit for, and I think they surprise LSU. They've got them at home, which is another big factor. This isn't on the road. And like I said, I just don't believe in LSU this year. I just don't think they have the pieces strong enough. And even last year when they did have the pieces, Florida was dominating most of that game. Well, I mean, they were only one step behind because LSU, I mean, they were scoring and then Florida would score and then LSU would score and then Florida would score. And then eventually just LSU got one more score and they were playing catch up the entire game. It's just that, based on that factor alone, I think Florida's the better team on paper, and I think they show it when they play at home, and I think they win against Florida. Okay, and then the final 2 games, Ole Miss. They got Ole Miss at home, loss.
Yeah, loss. And then Florida State loss as well.
You think that's a loss?
Yep.
Yes.
Especially since they're playing them at home.
Really? You don't think that's like a guaranteed loss?
Yes, it's at Florida State, and Florida State's a better team than Florida, man.
I don't think they are. I think Florida beats them, but that's
really.
Yeah.
Why are you high on Florida this year?
Because I know better than to look at a bunch of logos as compared to Florida and say, "Oh, they're losing all these games."
I'm not saying that I think Florida's like going to be bad.
Okay, well, before I submit my final answer on Florida State, explain to me why you think they would beat them at their home stadium.
Well, I mentioned when we talked about Florida State earlier, they've got a lot of off-season drama. They haven't picked up a lot of big players. They don't recruit. They're basically like Colorado. They don't recruit any guys out. They just get a bunch of people out of the portal and call it a day. And we saw that. You saw how that affected them at the end of the season. They weren't a team anymore. They were just a group of individuals. And based on that alone, and based on the fact, they had all this off-season drama, didn't do much recruiting, didn't do much of anything, just spent the entire off-season, where the playoff committee didn't do anything for us, where, that's all they've been doing. The coaches have been doing it, the players have been doing it, the whole team just looks lost. And I think in the ACC it doesn't matter because I do think they're talented enough still to, do some work in the ACC. I'm not saying that they're going to be absolutely garbage, but, I know better than anyone that just because Florida plays a whole bunch of ranked teams and they're probably going to lose quite a few of those games, it does not mean Florida is a bad team. And, I just haven't seen anything from Florida State that makes me think, oh, they're going to be, they're going to improve this year. They're definitely not going to improve. They're going to regress, and I think they're going to regress a significant amount enough to where teams like Georgia Tech and Florida get wins over them. So that's my take on it.
You know what? I actually strongly agree with that take. Give me Florida.
I'm going to still take Florida State.
Okay, so since you flipped yours, that means we'd have Florida at 7-5. Yeah, that means Florida would be at 7-5. Wow, what a season that would be, huh?
I think they'll make a bowl game.
Oh,
honestly,
yeah. I think they've definitely got the potential to make a bowl. They've got a few of these wishy-washy games, got a few there's a few games on here which I think that they will definitely most certainly lose, but it's not like Florida is like a terrible team. And some people just listen to one or two people that say, oh, Florida sucks and they're never going to do anything ever again, and they're like, oh, guess that's the end of the story, Florida sucks.
And then they get surprised.
Right, yeah, and I know better than anyone that that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I agree.
Us Vol fans know that all too well.
Yeah. All right, I guess let's move on to Georgia.
Yeah, this one's going to be quick, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Okay, so Georgia, let's talk about them, shall we? So, all right, so they start out the season. They play Clemson in Atlanta. What do y'all think about
Win. There's been this one Clemson fan on Twitter telling me how they're going to beat Georgia. And I kept telling them that. Yeah, there's literally one Clemson fan on Twitter that goes on Spaces all the time, telling literally a bunch of people on how they're going to beat Georgia.
Yeah, they're gonna find out soon. Yeah, I mean, it could be a competitive game. I have no idea how Clemson's going to be, but I just haven't seen anything out of Clemson that makes you think they're going to improve much this season. So I think Georgia's way more talented. I think they got a better quarterback situation. I think they got a better offense situation, and I think they beat Clemson. So there you go, 1-0. Then 2-0, they beat Tennessee Tech, most likely. Kentucky on the road, 3-0, right?
Yeah, they're beating Kentucky.
Yeah. Then after a bye week, we talked about the Alabama game already, so 4-0. After that, Auburn, we talked about that one, 5-0. Mississippi State, 6-0.
Yeah.
Here we go. This is going to be an interesting one. Texas on the road in Austin. Georgia going on the road to Texas. This is going to be an interesting one for sure. What's y'all's take on it? It's before a bye week. This is a very interesting game for sure.
Well,
who does Texas play beforehand? That's what I'd like to know.
They play. Texas plays Oklahoma the week before.
Yeah.
God.
I got to really think about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Georgia.
Oklahoma's a really big game for them, so that's gonna be a really tough one for them to come off of and play Georgia.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Georgia.
Yeah, and
Sorry, Texas.
I'm picking Georgia as well.
If Texas played somebody else other than Oklahoma, I'd probably pick Texas.
Absolutely, I agree, but because, like I said, I think they're actually kind of underrated.
Yeah. Even then, I wouldn't be so sure because Georgia, I mean, we always make the jokes about Mickey Mouse and blah, 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 but they're a super talented team, and Kirby Smart coaches really, really well, even on the road. So I think they have a coaching advantage there. And I think regardless, I think they beat Texas. So there you go. They'll be 6-0 or 7-0 now. After that, though, you face Florida. We talked about that one. So 8-0. This is where I think their luck runs out, and I think they lose. Ole Miss on the road. Ole Miss, a very, very good team. And unlike some of these other teams, they have a very, very, really, really, really good offense to lay off of. And I think their offense just proves to be too much for Georgia, and I think they pull away late in the game, and I think they get the win. What do y'all think?
No, I'm gonna go with Georgia.
I don't think that Georgia's going to go undefeated, like a lot of people, as a lot of Georgia fans probably think. I think that they're going to have just one loss, and I think this is that loss. So I'm going with Ole Miss.
All right, well, there you go, yeah. So 8-1, then they play Tennessee at home. And the thing about Tennessee is, as much as I'd love to be a homer and go with the Vols here, I just have to see otherwise to believe it.
Yeah.
To me, it feels like Kirby Smart has sort of figured out the Josh Heupel offense, and Tennessee just gets outcoached every single year. So until I see Tennessee kind of revitalize their offense for this game, I just don't see it happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Georgia.
Yeah, so there you go.
Even as a Tennessee fan, I think that they outplay us.
Yeah, and then they get UMass and Georgia Tech, two sides of the same coin right there. Not really though. Georgia Tech will be much better, but
they're losing to UMass.
Yeah, UMass are playoff team, sure. Yeah, but they should probably win both of those games. I think we all agree on that.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
That would put Georgia at 11-1. Most people have that in the bag for sure.
All right, now.
Yeah, Vol Bill. Squid, just as you said that, Georgia scored another touchdown on Florida State.
Just as you said that, Georgia got another DUI.
Dang.
Oh. Shots.
Stray. Ooh. Okay, anyway. It's Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. Okay. On to the next team, shall we? Let's move on to our everyone's favorite. Hold up. Gotta play it.
Kentucky baseball.
Kentucky baseball. Kentucky baseball. Kentucky baseball.
Blah, blah. Just freaking beat Tennessee, please. Can we just stop losing to this stupid team with their stupid orange colors, their stupid song, and their woo, get their woo on out of here.
That's funny, isn't it? All right, so yeah, we got Kentucky up next. So they start out with Southern Miss. Win. Agree on that?
Yes.
All right, cool. Then they play South Carolina at home. Think we can agree on that being a W?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Lucas, you're muted.
Oh.
Lucas?
He's still muted.
Lucas. We lost
Oh, he
him.
had to leave.
We lost him. No.
He's MIA. He's missing in action. Oh, God.
No, he went MIA. He's gone. No. But if he were here, I'm guaranteed he'd say that Kentucky beat South Carolina. So, you know.
Yeah.
So 2-0. And then Georgia at home. We already talked about that. 2-1. Ohio at home. 3-1.
Yeah.
We can all agree on that. Then they play Ole Miss on the road. Ooh.
I think that's an easy L for them. I think Ole Miss is going to outplay them.
That's funny. But yeah, I do. I agree with that. I think Ole Miss beats them easily. So there you go. So that would put him at 3-2 going into the next game against Vandy. They do have it at home, but Vandy does have a pretty good track record against Kentucky in the past 2 years. I'm only saying that because the last time they played him in Lexington, Vandy pulled off the huge upset. Do you think Vandy could do it again?
That's a good question. Well, let's see. So Kentucky has a bye week beforehand. I think they'll, depending on who Vanderbilt plays beforehand, I think that Kentucky comes out with a win.
Yeah, that is true. I think I don't remember, but I think Vandy might also. I don't know. I think Vandy might also have a bye week before this game.
Oh, okay.
No,
well,
I take that back. No, I take that back. They play Alabama. Yeah, give me Kentucky.
Oh God. Yeah.
Kentucky.
Easily.
Yeah. All right, so there you go. That would put Kentucky at 4-1, heading into their next matchup on the road at Florida. And we agreed. Oh, there's Lucas. Welcome back.
This computer sucks so bad.
Yeah, I believe it.
It's a good. I bought a new one, thankfully.
Yeah, but yeah, we agreed that Kentucky loses to Florida, right? Most of us, at least.
Yeah. We did.
All right,
I did at least.
So that'll put Kentucky at 4-3. Then they play Auburn, and we said that was a loss for Kentucky, so that'll put them at 4-4. Heading into their game against Tennessee on the road in Neyland Stadium. And I think this sums up my thoughts on this pretty well.
Pick up your shovel and get back to the coal mines, baby. Go Big Orange.
Nothing else needs to be said.
Yeah.
All right.
No,
well,
you're right.
So going into their next game, Murray State
Win.
get it at home, win. So that'll put them at 5-5.
Yeah.
Texas on the road.
Loss. They're not beating Texas.
Yeah.
L.
So 5-6, and they've got to get to, in order to get to bowl eligibility, they have to beat Louisville at home.
I'm going to say win because Louisville cannot beat Kentucky to save their lives.
Also, I just don't think Louisville's that good of a team. They just don't have. Now, they of course, Jeff Brom did exceed expectations heavily last season, but even with him doing that, he still wasn't able to beat Kentucky.
Yeah.
I agree. I think Kentucky's just the one team they can't figure out, and they're playing them at home.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give the W to Kentucky.
So there you go.
So,
That'll put
6-6.
Kentucky at 6-6. You go bowl eligible. Whee!
All right. Now,
Kentucky baseball.
all right, now it's time for LSU.
All right, LSU, the team I am not very
So
high on.
I guess you're picking them to go 0-12.
Yeah,
It seems like
yeah, because I picked them to lose to Florida. That means they're going 0-12.
you've picked them to lose like every single game. It looks like.
Yeah, well, get ready for that a whole lot more. All right, so they start out on Sunday, September 1st. So this is a Sunday game. It's a neutral site in Las Vegas, USC. This is, I mean, what a matchup this is. Two teams with no defense. They're liable to be. It's going to look like EA College Football 25. There's just going to be 200 points scored.
It's just going to come down to whose defense is better.
Yeah.
Well, it definitely ain't LSU's.
Yeah, honestly, I kind of think USC's defense is better.
Well,
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, I don't necessarily think that's the truth, but what I do think they do have is a better offense. Miller Moss, I think, is a guy that's going to surprise a lot of people this season, and I think USC wins this game. LSU has had a tendency of losing their season openers for the longest time, but even if that wasn't the case, I would still pick USC.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with USC.
USC.
All right, there you go. So LSU 0-1, but then they'll get their win against Nicholas State or Nichols.
Yeah.
Nichols.
And then on the road at South Carolina.
Oh, so this is on the road in Williams-Brice Stadium. I'm really not high on South Carolina this season. Give me LSU to get the win.
Yeah, I'll go with LSU.
Yeah, I agree.
I think, while I don't think this is Billy Napier's last year, I do think this might be Shane Beamer's last. So give me LSU to beat South Carolina on the road. So 2-1. Then they get UCLA at home. And this is actually a home-and-home series because UCLA, all the way back in 2021, played LSU at their home stadium and beat them. So this is an interesting one for sure.
I think
I'm
gonna pick LSU.
Sifs, what's your take?
This is hard, actually. Oh no, I just realized that LSU's playing at home. I think the LSU will win, honestly.
Yeah, I'll take the Tigers as well. So that'll put LSU at 3-1 and then 4-1 because they play South Alabama right afterwards.
Yeah.
And then after that, this is where things get tough. They do get Ole Miss at home, but how much will that help them in this game?
They're not beating.
Not much. Not much.
Now it is a night game, so I think it will help them quite a bit. But I just don't think the difference will be enough to mask the amount of talent, the pretty big talent gap between these two teams. So I think LSU takes the loss here. 4-2 heading into their matchup against Arkansas on the road, which we already qualified as the upset for Arkansas. LSU loses this game 4-3. And then they get Texas A&M on the road in College Station. This is either going to be a 3:30 kickoff or a night kickoff. A tough one to call for sure. What do y'all think?
You know what? Give me A&M.
L for LSU.
Oh, wow. Not much thought into that, I guess. I was going to pick LSU, but...
Really?
Yeah, I did. I mean, really, it's kind of it's a 50-50 game here.
I mean, it is, but I just think that Texas A&M is playing at home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
you're right.
if we're electing LSU to have an L against Arkansas, then I think they're not going to be prepared to play Texas A&M at home.
Yeah, it's a very tough one to call, but yeah, we'll side with A&M. So 4-4 heading into their last 4 games of the season. After a bye week, they play Alabama at home. We already discussed this one as a loss for LSU, so 4-5. Then Florida on the road, and we flipped this one actually. So yeah, 4-6. Good grief, this is a bad year. Looking like a very bad year. Then they play Vandy at home.
Win.
Come on, let's be real.
Win.
So you have to beat Oklahoma to make a bowl game.
And do y'all think they can do that?
It's at home, but I'm gonna take Oklahoma.
I think that
I'm gonna side with LSU here. I picked them to lose to Texas A&M. It's only fair that I give them this one. I think they go 1-1 in both of those games. Oklahoma is a team that I do think they'll be kind of up and down this season, and they're going to have some pains in the SEC, this being one of them, because they're having to play LSU on the road. It's a very, very harsh environment for Oklahoma to be playing at. They've seen nothing like it, I guarantee you that. And it'll more than likely be a night game. So, yeah.
It will be a night game. It's 3:30 to 8 p.m. Yeah. So I think, in my opinion, I think the LSU's, for lack of a better term, going to crank up that stadium pulse, especially with it being their last at-home season game.
And it's for bowl eligibility in this case.
Yeah, exactly. So I think LSU might crank it up a bit here. I'm going to go with LSU.
All right, there you go. So that would put LSU at 6-6 for the season. Not a great year, definitely not. There would probably be some very, very irate, drunk LSU fans at that point. So
yeah,
think about that while you can. All right, next up on this team, somebody we're probably even going to be even lower on, Mississippi State. So, oh boy, this is going to be a tough one right here.
At least they start off the season against some teams they can beat.
Yeah, I think they win this one. Eastern Kentucky. I think they win that one.
And then at Arizona State, that's
tough one to call, but Arizona State is a team that's kind of down in their luck. They're not very good.
Yeah.
I think Mississippi State wins that game.
Yeah,
I don't think they're that bad.
Yeah, Arizona State's like bad right now.
Yeah.
So there you go, 2-0. All right, then after that, Toledo at home, 3-0.
Should be 3-0, but they shouldn't sleepwalk on Toledo.
Oh yeah, definitely. Then after that, Florida, we discussed this one already. They take a loss. Texas on the road, loss. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So there you go, 3-2. Georgia on the road after a bye week, loss. So 3-3. Texas A&M at home,
loss.
It's
loss.
Definitely possible, but yeah, I guess we'll stick with A&M and say they lose that game. So 3-4. Then Arkansas at home.
Loss.
And we said this was a win for Arkansas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Spectacular. So 3-5. Then UMass UMass the playoff team, sure.
4-5.
Yeah, right. 4-5. Yeah. Tennessee on the road, loss.
4-6.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't see you beating Tennessee at Neyland. Missouri after a bye week at home. Ooh, this is a tough one.
Nah.
Don't sleep on Missouri. Don't sleep on Missouri.
I'm not. I don't see them looking ahead because they've got the Egg Bowl right after this, and they'll be 4-7 after the, and then after the Egg Bowl, more than likely 4-8. Right?
Yeah, 4-8.
Sorry, Mississippi State fans, but we are not very high on you. I think you go 4-8 this year. Gotta be some definite growing pains for the Cowbell College.
I do like the hire for Jeff Levy, though.
Yeah, no, that is a great hire. And I think in the long run, if they stick with him like they should, then he could get Mississippi State. He could get Mississippi State to the promised land. That being, an 8-4 season. But until then, this is kind of the growing pains you're going to have to go through in order to get there.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, up next is everyone's favorite Electric Ones and the Missouri Tigers.
Look at that easy schedule.
Yeah, no, it's all sunshine and rainbows for Missouri. So let's go ahead and get this one over with. Murray State and Buffalo, both wins.
Boston College win,
Now they do. They do have Brett Bielema. No, not Brett Bielema. I'm thinking of Illinois. Bill O'Brien as their head coach. So that is interesting to think about. But
Bill O'Brien,
yeah.
Oh my God!
Does that ring a bell, Alabama fans? Boo! Boo!
I'm gonna trade DeAndre Hopkins.
Boo! All right, but 3-0, right?
Yeah.
All right, and then after that, Vandy at home. Win.
Yes.
So 4-0. 4-0.
Yeah, 4-0.
Win,
Jared thinks it's very possible Vandy beats Missouri.
They're not, bro. Stop.
And his reasoning for that reasoning for that was because they suck. So take from that what you will. We love you, Jared. All right, after that, so 4-0, bye week, Texas A&M on the road in College Station. This is a tough one to call, I think, because, Mike Elko, I think, could potentially grab the upset here. What do y'all think?
I'm going to stick with Missouri.
You think so?
Yeah.
I'm going Texas A&M right here. I think they stun Missouri after the bye week. I think they put a bit of a surprise on Texas A&M. And I do think because of the bye week, that things will set up pretty well for Missouri. I just don't think it'll be enough. I think Texas A&M is going to be a pretty big challenge for Missouri to cross over. And I think that Mizzou gets the dub. What do you think, Sips? It's on you.
So you said you think Mizzou gets the dub?
No, I think A&M does.
Oh, okay. I was confused. I'd have to agree, just because even though I said don't sleep on Missouri, I do think that Texas A&M. I mean, it's close enough to the start of the season. They're still going to be firing on all cylinders for the most part, and I mean they're playing at home, so I mean that'd be a tough game for anyone.
Yeah. Well. All right, yeah. So there you have it. So majority rules. That's their first loss of the season. After that, though, UMass a playoff team, sure. So 5-1.
How many times is UMass gonna show up?
I don't know. We'll have to find out. Auburn.
At this point, it should just be a drinking challenge.
So Auburn,
what did we say about this game?
It's 6-1, right?
Oh yeah, that's right.
We
That's
picked
right.
we picked Mizzou.
Then Alabama on the road. We talked about this one, 6-2.
Yeah.
Then after that, Oklahoma at home.
I'm gonna take Mizzou since it's at home.
Yeah, tough one to call for sure. But they do have a bye week to rest up and get ready for this game. You took Oklahoma, Lucas. Sips, what about you?
Oh, I took Missouri, not Oklahoma.
Oh, Missouri, my
bad. Who did Lucas pick again? I'm sorry. Missouri. Okay. It's going to be at night, and they're going to be playing at home. Even though I think Oklahoma's a really talented team, I think that a lot of people are sleeping on Missouri. I'm going to elect Missouri to win this one, honestly.
All right, there you go. So Mizzou wins that one. And, yeah, even if I were to pick Oklahoma, it doesn't matter. Yeah, we'll stick with Missouri. And, then they got South Carolina on the road in Columbia. Win, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
South Carolina pulls off the upset.
Wait, do you actually believe that?
I mean, they upset Tennessee.
Well,
you got to go off more than that. Got to be something.
Yeah, but that
even if you think it's just a hunch.
That's
South Carolina always plays
though.
well. South Carolina always plays well late in the season for some reason.
They didn't last season.
Yeah.
They only had that 1 year where they won 2 games back to back because I stole Michigan's signs. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
I'm just gonna stick with South Carolina.
Well, I guess I'll pick Missouri. Sips, what'd you?
Yeah, I'm going Missouri as well.
If South Carolina actually wins that, you best believe I'm coming on here and laughing at both of you.
Yeah, because that means they keep Beamer. I'll be laughing at that too. Anyway, Mississippi State on the road, win, and then Arkansas.
Yeah, win.
Yeah.
That'll
we
put
already
Missouri at what we expected, 10-2. So
yeah,
more than likely,
I think they'll.
Team.
Yeah, for sure.
And this one will probably be over with quick. Ole Miss. All right, so Ole Miss, what do we got for them? So Furman, win. MTSU, win. So 2-0. Wake Forest on the road.
Yeah, they're starting the season 6-0.
Georgia Southern, Kentucky, South Carolina. South Carolina on the road, but yeah, we'll say they win that one. Then LSU. What'd you say?
Oh, sorry. I was gonna agree with Lucas. I'm gonna say they're going 6-0 at the start.
7-0 because we talked about the LSU game already, and I think, like we said, they've got the talent gap. I think they win that one on the road.
Oh yeah.
So 7-0. Then after a bye week, they face Oklahoma at home. Win.
Win.
All right, so
Win.
8-0. 9-0 because they got Arkansas. And then we picked them to beat Georgia, so that means they'd be 10-0.
Bro,
Wow.
if that actually happens, if they be 10-0,
Fellas.
then Ole Miss could
Yeah,
Ole Miss could be
just look at
ranked
their 2
number
games.
1.
Well, look at their next 2 games. Florida
Yeah.
and Mississippi State. We
Hey.
inadvertently just picked Ole Miss to go 12-0.
And be in the SEC championship.
They'd be 12-0. Did we really just pick Ole Miss to go 12-0?
Bro,
Honestly,
they could be if that actually happens, they would literally be ranked number 1.
Oh, they absolutely would be.
yeah.
Wow.
I mean, okay, this is my take on it. Yes, it's a little absurd to call, but I think there's a lot of heavy contenders that they're not facing.
That's
Right.
true. That is definitely true.
I mean, and playing Oklahoma at their home, I mean, and it's going to be, well, it'll be midday.
Yeah. Well, one thing that they have is first, they're like Missouri. They have a very easy schedule benefiting them, and on top of that, they've got a team more. I mean, they're going to be they're more than likely going to be favored in 11 out of the 12 of these games. The lone exception being Georgia, and since we picked Georgia to get upset by Ole Miss at home, this is looking like a 12-0 season, regular season for Ole Miss. It's hard to believe that, but that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like.
It's a pretty easy schedule.
It would be the first time Ole Miss would ever make Atlanta.
Really? That's baffling. That's really something for him. Good job, Ole Miss. Good job. We'll see if you can live up to that or if you'll probably blow up expectations. I don't know. We'll see. We'll find out exactly what you've got planned. On to the next team, though. The Oklahoma Sooners. First time in the SEC. Let's see what they've got. So, first off, they play Temple, win. Houston,
win.
So,
Tulane.
A little bit tougher to call. Tulane is a pretty good group of 5 team. But,
that one's tricky.
Yeah, but we can call that a win.
Yeah. I'd say win.
All right.
I mean, it's a night game. It starts at 3:30.
And plus,
they're playing.
Yeah, they have to play Tennessee the next week.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. So and then Tennessee we picked as a loss, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's a tough one to call, but I do think. I mean, this is going to be a really close game, I think. But Tennessee, I think, does have the advantage on both sides of the ball. I think they've got the talent advantage. And really, Tennessee and Oklahoma are kind of 2 sides of the same coin because they're suffering from the same issue. The secondary is kind of the big question with Tennessee and Oklahoma this season. So the only difference is I think Tennessee is the more talented team, and even with the home field advantage, I don't think it'll be enough to close that gap. So, I think Tennessee wins that game.
Yeah, Tennessee is better, I think, in everything than Oklahoma. The only reason people think Oklahoma can win this game is because it's at Oklahoma. If this game was at Tennessee, I feel like it would be an easy Tennessee win.
You think so? All right.
Yeah.
Well, on to the next game, of course, we picked Auburn to lose against Oklahoma. So that would mean that Oklahoma's 4-1 heading into the Wibblewabbly against Texas. And do y'all think they're losing or winning that one?
I'm going to go Texas.
Tough one to call. I'm going to go. They've got a bye week, but I'm pretty sure.
I think Texas gets revenge for what happened last year.
I don't think they do. I think Oklahoma beats them again. I do think Oklahoma has got a team capable enough of beating Texas again. They've got the offense, and this is known to be one of those games. It's a Red River shootout. It's gonna be a shootout. It's gonna live up to the name. I think Oklahoma gets the dub though at the end. Sips, it's on you.
Even though I said that the Longhorns are a bit underrated on the poll, I do think that Oklahoma comes out with this one.
Wow.
Right.
How about that?
I'm sorry.
Oh, wow.
Sorry, Texas fans.
You guys really don't think Texas avenges their loss last year?
I don't. I do.
It could really go either way, to be honest.
It's a 50-50 game.
Yeah.
We're just happy to flip,
I mean, it always is, but
we're flipping on the Sooner side. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, no, there you go. So, in my opinion, yeah. Now, in all honesty, this is kind of a personal thing. I do hope they lose a lot of these games. Not against Oklahoma fans, but just in one Oklahoma fan in particular. Had a friend of mine talking about because there was an Oklahoma fan on Instagram, like, you know, happy about some Texas guy getting injured, and one of my friends went in there and told him how stupid that was, that he was happy about that, and the friend in question happens to have R.I.P. David, my good friend David Murphy. Some of you may have known him. He had R.I.P. David in his bio, and he said something like, "We smoking on David" or something like that. So because of that absolute scumbag, I would hope Oklahoma loses every game, but you know, we can't just go off of that alone. A lot of the Oklahoma fans I've interacted with are good, and one bad apple doesn't mean that all the fans are bad people. So, you know, but that's just from my personal preference. I want to see that dude's team suffer.
Yeah.
But that's not, you know, we can't go off of that alone. And, you know, there are bad apples of every single team. There are a lot of bad Tennessee fans, I'm sure. And, you know, that's all there is to it. Nonetheless, though, Texas, I'm predicting Oklahoma to beat Texas. So 5-1 heading into the South Carolina game. Win, right?
Win.
Yes.
6-1. On the road at Ole Miss, we talked about that one already. That's a loss, so 6-2. Maine,
Yep.
7-2. Then Missouri on the road. We talked about that one. That is a loss, so 7-3. And then the last two games on their schedule, I remember I picked Oklahoma to beat Alabama, and both of you guys picked Alabama, right?
Yeah, I picked out. I know I picked Alabama.
And you did.
Well, yeah, I think I did too. Honestly,
You did.
I don't remember.
I
can't remember.
because I know I had their. Yeah. Okay. And Alabama won a majority rule, so yeah. Oklahoma loses that game, takes their fourth loss, and then LSU, they picked them to lose that one as well. So that would mean Oklahoma, LSU, Bama, Missouri, Ole Miss, and Tennessee. That would mean they go 7-5 in their first year in the SEC. So, I mean, it's not a terrible year, more of like a mid-average year. You know, nothing special. You know, it's like blah, ew.
I feel like the biggest one we elected them to win based on a majority vote was the Red River, of course.
Yeah, and that would be a huge win for them. Don't get me wrong, but you know, from an Oklahoma fan standpoint, I'm sure they're winning more than that. Otherwise, it'd be a disappointing year.
Yeah,
right.
But yeah, 7-5 is what we're sticking with. Don't like it? Take it to the comments. I'm sure you can tell us all about how we don't know football and how we're stupid and have never seen a college football game in our lives.
Pretty much.
All right, on to the next team here. Another team we're probably going to be pretty low on, South Carolina. So Old Dominion, win. Yeah, 1-0.
Yeah.
Kentucky on the road, loss. We talked about that one as well as LSU. So 1-2 heading into the game against Akron. Win.
2-2.
All right.
Yep.
After a bye week, we got Ole Miss and Bama and Oklahoma. All three of those games we picked as losses, right?
Yeah.
For all the same reasons.
We did.
Yeah, and for all the same reasons necessarily. I just don't think they're talented enough to beat those teams. So that would mean that they are 2-5 heading into the last 5-game stretch on their schedule. So this Texas A&M game is absolutely huge for South Carolina, and they've got a bye week to prepare for it. So take that into consideration with making this pick, is all I'm going to say. And, you know, in the case of Texas A&M, they are playing LSU before this game. So, again, take that into consideration. What do y'all think? Does South Carolina get the upset over A&M at home?
Didn't we pick A&M?
No, we haven't done A&M yet.
Oh.
Yeah, we haven't done them yet.
I'm picking South Carolina. This is the upset win that I think they get in the season.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm gonna take South Carolina as well. A&M plays LSU the week before.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel like that. I agree. This is the upset win that they're gonna get.
Yeah. So 3-5, and then they go 4-5. I think. Well, actually, shoot, I don't know anymore. Vandy on the road.
Nah, I'm gonna go South Carolina.
I'm going Vandy. I think this.
Right.
I think this is the upset that Vandy gets. Texas A&M, South Carolina got the upset over A&M. I think they get upset the following week by Vandy on the road.
Wow.
Sips, it's on you.
I'm not saying that Vandy is necessarily a talented team by any means, but I do think that they beat South Carolina. I don't think
Wow.
This isn't me giving credit to Vanderbilt, but I do think that South Carolina is pretty trash. So
Yeah, they're trash, but they're not Vandy.
Okay, but Vandy, I think, will be. I besides all the jokes that we've had about Vandy, I do think they are an improved team. They're bringing in a pretty good coach from New Mexico State and Diego Pavia, who, remind you, single-handedly put the whooping on Auburn on the road. So
Vandy was supposed to be an improved team last year.
No, I don't disagree with that. I just think there's more signs of that this offseason than there were last offseason. That's all I'm saying. But all that aside, I still think they beat South Carolina, and this will probably be the deciding factor in Shane Beamer's future career at South Carolina. So 3-6 now, heading to the last 3 games. Missouri, we discussed that one. They lose that one 3-7, but then they get Wofford at home 4-7, and then Clemson on the road. What do y'all think?
Loss.
easy loss for
so
South Carolina.
That puts South Carolina at 4-8. Yikes.
So if that actually happens, do you think Shane Beamer gets fired?
Absolutely. With the Vandy loss, yeah, no question about it. Not much to think about there. All right, now, obviously, I'm sure you guys have been waiting for this one, but you're going to have to wait a week because we're going to give a much more in-depth prediction on Tennessee the following week, so stay tuned for that next week. We're each going to give our own prediction. It's not going to be a shared prediction like this one, so stay tuned for that in the future the following week, and I'll make a video about that too. Then after that, UT Junior's up next. It's the Texas Longhorns. Let's see, so they start out with Colorado State.
Win.
Yes, so 1-0. And then this is probably the biggest non-con game of the offseason. Texas at Michigan, the defending national champions. They're traveling to Ann Arbor to play against the Wolverines. Michigan, of course, losing a lot of talent. Texas doesn't look like they're losing nearly as much, but it is on the road. Before you give your predictions, guys, I'm going to give mine. I say Texas goes on the road and knocks off Michigan. What do y'all think?
Agreed.
Wow.
Sorry, I actually agree with that as well.
Okay, cool.
I think Texas is a more talented team.
They are.
Right now, at least.
They are. And while I do think Michigan definitely has the potential to get the win over here, this is kind of a 50-50 game here, considering it is on the road and Michigan is still a very talented team. But Texas is, of course, a big-time favorite in a lot of people's eyes to win the SEC and possibly the national championships. Yeah, I'm going to stick with Texas. Say they start out 2-0.
Yeah, and then they'll be 5-0.
Yeah, because they get UTSA, ULM, Monroe, and Mississippi State. Yes, 5-0. Then the Web River rivalry. This is where their luck runs out. I think they lose to Oklahoma, as we said before. And then Georgia after that. So 5-2. So yeah, tough luck there. Then Vandy on the road. Done.
Win.
Right?
Yeah, win.
So they go get back on track 6-2. Florida at home 7-2.
Yeah,
And then
then
Arkansas. Yeah, we stuck with Texas on this one, right?
Yeah, we
did.
Yeah.
We should have.
I'm pretty sure we did.
I'm pretty sure we picked Texas.
My memory's clicking with me. I just want to make sure I got that right. We picked Arkansas to go 5-7, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we picked Arkansas to go 5-7. Yeah.
Yeah.
Auburn, A&M, Tennessee, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, and Missouri. I think we actually had them winning this game.
Wait,
really?
Yeah, I think we actually did because if we had them going 5-7, yeah, because we had them losing to Missouri, Ole Miss. Mississippi State. So Missouri, Texas, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Texas A&M, Auburn, and Oklahoma State. Okay, so yeah, you guys are right. My bad. I just wanted to clarify that. I didn't want to mix things up and get this game wrong. You know what I mean?
You're good. You're
okay,
good.
so that puts Texas at 8-2. Yeah, we're, as you can tell, you guys are professionals over here. Something to really think about.
Yes.
Then after that, we get Kentucky, or Texas gets Kentucky. I don't know. I said we. What's wrong with me? But yeah, we had that one as a win for Texas. And then A&M on the road. This is such an interesting game right here. We already had the taking 2 losses.
When there's no way Texas loses 3 games.
Yeah, I'm picking Texas to beat A&M.
I think they outplay Texas A&M by a significant margin, so I'm gonna pick Longhorn.
And obviously, this is going to be a huge game. I think this is going to be a really close one, but I think Texas edges it out in the end.
I agree.
So there you go. Texas will go 10-2 according to our predictions. So something to really think about there. And now to move on to their rival, the Texas A&M Aggies. So they start off with a huge, probably the biggest game of the one of the biggest games of week 1. Texas A&M hosting a top 10 Notre Dame team. This is going to be a really, really close one. What do y'all think?
I'm going Notre Dame.
Sips, what about you?
You know what? I'm pretty sure I'm going to be the odd man out. But I think Notre Dame is overrated. Very overrated.
Damn.
I think that Texas A&M is actually going to win this game. I mean, they're playing at home for one.
Yeah, can't argue.
And it's at 7:30. It's at 7:30 at night. That stadium's going to be packed because you got to think of all the A&M fans that are going to be there rooting for them to beat like a top 10 contender, on the AP poll. So I don't think Notre Dame's going to be as great as everyone plays them out to be. I mean, it was the same thing last year too. Right. They weren't as great as everyone thought they were going to be.
God, this is such a tough game to call. Because I do think Notre Dame is a borderline. I think Notre Dame is like a borderline top 10 team. I think they are going to be in the top 10 in my preseason poll. I think they are a good team. But this is, you're talking.
I'm not saying they're a bad team.
Yeah, no. I'm not saying that either. But you're talking about playing in one of the most hostile stadiums, the biggest stadium on the road at night. For the first game of the season, with Texas A&M having a new coach and Mike Elko. I think we see a situation with Florida had with Billy Napier. In his first game, he beat Utah at home, a top 10 team. I think we see that here. I think Mike Elko makes a statement at Texas A&M and beats Notre Dame at home.
Wow.
So there you go. 1-0 for Texas A&M. After that, you get McNeese, so 2-0. Then they play Florida on the road, and we talked about this one already. 2-1 for Texas A&M, obviously.
Beat Notre Dame, but lose to Florida.
It's an A&M moment. What can I tell you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the best way I can describe it. You can hear your reasoning for that one earlier in the stream if you're interested. Then after that, Bowling Green, 3-1, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm glad we can agree on that. Arkansas in the Southwest Classic. We had them winning that one, right? Yeah, we had them winning.
We had Arkansas.
Yeah, 4-1. Mizzou on the road, or no, it is Mizzou. They have them at home, but we had this one as a loss for Mizzou, right?
Yeah, I think we picked Missouri, didn't we?
I think we did.
Yeah, our 2 losses for Missouri, we had them going 10-2. Our 2 losses for them were Alabama and it was Alabama, and it was who was the other loss?
I guess it was to A&M.
Oh, wait, yeah. I think that is what we did.
Unless we had Auburn beating them, which I don't think we did.
No, we didn't have. We didn't. We picked Missouri over Auburn. I know.
Now it's coming back to me. Yeah, we picked Mizzou in that game. We did. We actually picked A&M in that game. So 5-1. And that's probably 2 wins over 2 top 10 teams right there. So that's big for A&M. Then Mississippi State. That's another win right there. LSU. That's another win right there, I believe.
Yep.
South Carolina on the road. We actually had them taking the loss here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the upset game we talked about.
That's right. That is right. So that means by this point they'd only have 2 losses. They have the loss to they'd have the loss to Florida and the loss to South Carolina. That would be their only 2 losses by this point. 3 games left to go. That means they'd be 7-2. Wow, that's a good season for A&M. And then after that, they play New Mexico State. Better watch out.
Yeah.
Nah, let's be honest. They're beating New Mexico State.
Yeah,
They don't have
No,
Jerry.
no, we're
Kill.
joking.
They don't have Jerry. They don't have Jerry Kill anymore.
8-2, and then at Auburn, we had this one as a loss, I believe, for A&M.
Yeah, I think we did.
Yeah.
So that would be 8-3, and then Texas 8-4.
Mm-hmm.
How funny!
Yeah. I think that sounds fair.
8-4 for Texas. 8-4. How fitting. So yeah, there you go. That's Texas A&M's record, and then finally, Vandy. Da 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 da. Let's go, Vandy. All right, let's get
Vanderbilt
this
is
over
starting
with.
at least 6-1.
Yeah, I suppose so. So Virginia Tech. Now they do get Virginia Tech at home, and Virginia Tech has a few questions, but they also, I think they are a pretty good team. I picked them as kind of the dark horse in the ACC. What do y'all think?
I'm gonna go Virginia Tech.
What do you mean by the dark horse? Let
Like
me
as
ask
a
that.
team, like as a far, far away pick to make potentially the ACC championship or the playoffs.
Okay. I have Virginia Tech beating them.
All right, and yeah, I'm the same here. I think the Hokies beat them, so 0-1.
Yeah.
Alcorn State 1-1 right there. At Georgia State, this is not a clear cut win right for Vandy right here. What do y'all think?
It's not.
I'm gonna still stick with Vandy.
All right, Sifs, because I'm picking Georgia State. I think Georgia State beats Vandy. They've got them at home, and Vandy.
Now,
questions.
I see Lucas making that face. He's questioning that, but honestly, I think Vandy, even though they're an SEC team, there's a lot of questions there. So I'm actually going to go Georgia State.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah, got to clarify there, Georgia State.
Yeah.
man, it seems like this whole pick'ems thing, Sifs, you're agreeing with Squid every single time.
Okay, listen.
Not trying
He
to
gives a good-
not trying to be a jerk or anything. Not trying to be a jerk.
I know, I understand. Let me explain. Squid and I think a lot like the same way when it comes to stuff like this.
What can I say? I'm a smart individual.
Yes, and he gives a good explanation for why, and I feel like I do the same. So it's kind of like, listen, not trying to hate on the Vandy fans or anything. That I just think that they're not as talented,
Right.
if I'm being honest.
Well, I mean, I think the only clear-cut thing for them this season has been, their quarterback. I think Diego Pavia is actually a pretty good quarterback. The only problem is he's surrounded by a bunch of question marks. So
Yeah, exactly. And that's
Georgia State,
why
while they're definitely not the best Group of 5 team, nowhere near you. They've got them at home. And Vandy has had a really, really bad track record against teams even outside of the Power 5 in the Group of 5. They lost to UNLV last year. Hawaii nearly took them to the woodshed. You know what I mean? That was a really, really close game. So, it's really, really hard to get a grasp on Vandy. So that's why I picked Georgia Tech. So there you go. Or Georgia State, excuse me. Georgia State, Georgia Tech, Georgia.
Not Georgia Tech.
So there's about
Yeah.
500 Georgia teams to keep track of.
Kennesaw State.
Right.
Oh God.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, yeah, 1-2, then Missouri on the road, 1-3.
Yeah.
After a bye week, 1-4.
Yeah.
Kentucky.
1-5.
No, we picked.
Yeah.
Did we pick?
No,
Kentucky?
we picked Kentucky.
No, there's no way we picked Vandy to win this one.
We picked Kentucky.
Yeah. Let me double check that to make sure, because we had Kentucky going 6-6. Those losses were Texas, Tennessee, Auburn, Florida, Ole Miss, and Georgia. Okay, so we had
I was about to say, if we actually picked Vandy to win this game, then we must have been on some drugs or
So
something.
there you go, 1-5.
Yeah, no, for
1-5. Then after a Ball State game, I think we can agree that that's a win at home, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So 2-5.
Yeah.
Texas 2-6.
Yeah.
Auburn,
Even though
2-7. South Carolina, we actually did give Vandy the slide.
Yeah, this is their upset win.
So
This is their
3-7
upset win.
heading into the last two games against LSU and Tennessee.
So
which are
3-9.
both losses. So 3-9 is our prediction for Vandy. And I don't know if that gets Clark Lee fired. More than likely, it very well could. Maybe they have like a Brent Key situation at Georgia Tech where the interim head coach comes in and then starts performing a whole lot better. You know, a lot of things can change with Vandy over the offseason. But those are our picks on all of the SEC teams, except with the exception, of course, that being our Tennessee Volunteers. And we're all going to give our own predictions next week, so stay tuned for that. We'll each have our own prediction on Tennessee, so stay tuned for that. Obviously, we're not full-time experts here. I try to be, and I act like one, but I'm no guaranteed expert, so I'm sure I'll get a few comments talking about,
And
you've never even seen a game before, duh!
I'm going to throw this out there for anyone who might be upset with some of the bold predictions we made. I mean, the world of college football is very unpredictable.
That is correct.
And we're just trying to make our predictions as, I don't want to say accurate, but like, you know, you got to take some bold predictions here and there, you know?
Like I know somebody on Harris Highlights, they made a bold prediction that Tennessee was going to enter the Vandy game 10-1 with the loss being to Georgia and then go out and lose to Vandy by 14 points.
I don't know. That's a little bit too bold for me. I wouldn't say
that's just stupid.
maybe that's, yeah, that's
Come on now.
crazy.
Come on now.
Yeah.
And then apparently there was some Ohio State fan who said that they don't understand why they're getting so much hype. They said that Ohio State's going to go like 7-5.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Let's catch up on some of the comments here. It's been a while. All right. Okay. Zombie Central, what's going on? Question: how do you pronounce Nico Iamaleva's name? There's your answer.
Nico Iamaleava.
Vol Bill 99. Notre Dame is always overrated. Can't argue with that. They do tend to be overrated quite a few times. Maybe they're correctly rated this year. I don't know. We'll see.
And Andrew says Vanderbilt is not beating South Carolina. They have not done it since 2008.
Well, okay. Florida beat Vandy for like a whole bunch of years until 2022, and then Vandy beat them. And then back in 2018, they had some people picking Kentucky to beat Florida, and they're like, well, Florida hasn't lost to Kentucky since 1988, and then Kentucky went in and beat Florida. So, you know, again, as Sifs literally just said, you know, college football is it's an interesting game. Anything can happen.
I mean, and you can't just say just because they haven't done this, they haven't done that since a certain time, that it can't make a change this year.
Yeah.
You know? And we're just making predictions here. I mean, it's not set in stone. We'll have to actually watch the games and see what happens.
Unless if it's like a literal trend that, you know, based on the talent and based on every other factor, it points to that being the case, then yes, you can point to history as being a case. But in the case of Vandy, South Carolina, other than record and this random assortment of years, that's all you've got. So that's kind of where I'm pointing at there. Vanderbilt is more likely to upset Tennessee more than South Carolina. What?
Wait. Who said that?
Okay.
Zombie. All right. Zombie Central. You're on crack, bro.
Come on, man. Keep it real.
With the top 2 recruiting class now we got?
Well, okay. Well, granted, that doesn't really matter for this game in particular.
Well, okay, I get
like,
that, but still.
Bro's been snorting up some Cheetos.
Unless if that's just like a thing to where, you know, like it's just a Tennessee thing for them to win a bunch of games and then lose one they're not supposed to. Like, I don't really see where you're getting that from. Holy center field phenomenon. Julio Rodriguez is on this podcast. My favorite Seattle Mariner. I'm sure Julio would have a select few things to say about that if he were here. is all I can say about that. Oh my goodness, we've been going for 2 hours. All right, we're gonna have to wrap this thing up.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to wrap this thing up, boys.
Vanderbilt
appreciate you guys.
fans would burn down the city of Nashville if they beat Tennessee.
I bet they would. I appreciate you guys being on for as long as you have been. Appreciate, of course, my co-host and my special guest, which could more than likely very well be a co-host by this time next week. So, yeah, we'll be keeping an eye on that one for sure. But yeah, anyway, thank you all again for watching. This might be the longest episode of the Vol-Star podcast we have done, which tells you a lot about how close it is to football season. Let's go. It's only a matter of time. By this time next week, we'll be doing our Tennessee predictions. And then the week following that, we'll be talking about week 0. So, and you know, like, what's actually happened week 0. So, yes, we got a lot of hype coming. So, yeah, for sure. All right, well, then, we're going to wrap it up here, fellas. Thank you all again for watching. Sifs, Wolverine, any finalizing words for the peoples?
For anyone who has been here since the start of the stream, thank you so much. We appreciate you all. Hit that like button, subscribe. You know, we're almost, Squid is almost at 2,000, you know.
That's right.
Yeah.
Appreciate all the support, fellas.
Yeah.
Lucas.
Go Vols, go Central Michigan, and go Rice for Julio.
Yeah. Go Ohio State Bobcats, you know.
Ohio
What?
State Bobcats?
What?
Ohio Bobcats, whoever.
Man, we gotta get you out of here for that.
No. No.
Stiffs don't know his teams.
I guess
No.
not. Guess not. Okay, well, fellas, I appreciate all of you guys for watching. Be back here next week when we give our Tennessee predictions for this season. We're very, very close to the college football season. Glad to have you guys over here watching this. We'll see you guys next time. And as always, of course, power to Tardaria, and more importantly for over here, go Vols, baby. We'll see you guys in 3 weeks. And we'll see you people